extreme price swings in heating oil and gasoline and diesel is hurting the oil dealers. There is no business plan for what gasoline, diesel, and heating oil dealers and customers have gone through this year. Again, this is the why. The why these have to be the times that they be. For instance, in New England, thousands and thousands of people have been locked into heating oil contracts as the price of crude soared close to $150 a barrel in July. Then watched prices decrease below $50 a barrel even faster. Huge, extreme price swings can hurt everybody. Just like what happens if the price of gasoline, the price of diesel goes up, just like it was back in July? What happens to the economy then? If the economy is already in dismal or bad shape, even with gasoline being very cheap, what happens if it goes back up to $4 or $5 a gallon again? I guess that's beyond recession, perhaps even into another depression. Because, like I say, if the economy is already bad, the price always goes back up. Anyway, many are stuck with the contracts they signed and are in for a very expensive winter during the most severe economic downturn in at least a generation, if not ever. Now, heating oil dealers, amid a severe credit crisis, are scrambling to secure money needed to fund operations during the coldest part of winter to keep their most vulnerable customers from freezing. Heating oil dealers are for the most part mom and pop operations in the Northeast, and a bad decision, just one bad decision in the current environment, could be devastating. This is the most extraordinary circumstances I've seen in 30 years, said Chris Kaiser, owner of Services Incorporated, that sells fuel products to approximately 5,000 customers. There is no more room for error. In these conditions, where oil prices swing wildly or extremely from one day to the next, one bad choice could put dealers out of business just like that, right away, said Shane Sweet, President and Chief Executive of the New England Fuel Institute, which represents approximately 1,100 dealers. If you make one wrong move, or if you bet wrong in this environment, there is simply no room for error, he said. And already under siege from a weakening economy, declining home prices, and rising food and electric prices, no matter what the price of gasoline be. Low and middle income families in particular face the prospect of huge fuel bills based on record summer prices. This is crazy. Very crazy. So you mean to say that because I got locked into a contract in July, I have to pay these huge heating bills? I know it doesn't make much sense. Anyway, the worries are particularly severe in New England, where a far greater percentage of families heat their home with oil, 80% in Maine alone versus approximately 9% nationwide. And aid agencies that distribute federal aid to the poor say calls for heating assistance are growing rapidly. Heating oil dealers, especially in small New England towns where they have a long history and see their customers on the street, always have worked side by side with customers, making sure they understand their best options for dealing with heating oil fuel prices. They know firsthand what it means when the old, sick, or the poor do not have adequate amounts of oil. Some even hold a sum of money off to the side of their regular balance sheets to help customers when needed. To me, your oil company is as important as the doctor, said one resident in Littleton, New Hampshire. They said they could not pay the final $374.69 they owed the oil company from last winter until August. Typical bills, 50% higher. A typical family, based on current prices, figures to spend more than $2,000 this winter on heating fuel oil. But those who locked in over the summer on bets that prices would keep rising even further, even when oil hit a record $147 a barrel in July, could be stuck for barrels that are 50% higher. That's crazy. Heating oil for January delivery fell again on Friday to around $1.70 a gallon on the New York Mercantile Exchange. Of course, people are somewhat relieved that prices have come down a bit, said the Energy Program Coordinator with the Tri-County Community Action Program. Except those who purchased at $4.50 a gallon. They are quite simply freaking out. They don't understand it. Who does really understand it? Well, of course, you know how oil prices are. They will go back up again. It's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when, isn't it? Just one little thing, or anything at all, could make it go back up. Then what happens to the economy of the nation, or the nations of the world? Well, that'll probably take care of it. Something on that order. State attorneys generals are advising consumers to honor the contracts, no matter what. Heating oil dealers typically send notices to their customers in May and June, opening a period when customers can try to hedge against price increases the following winter. But nowadays, the price is so volatile, nobody can figure it out. Not really. A pre-buy allowing customers effectively to buy oil futures, agreeing to take a certain number of gallons at a set price during the next heating season. A price cap or budget plan in which a customer pays in monthly installments with a guaranteed maximum price. Those plans often include an offer of downside insurance, meaning if the price on the spot market drops, the consumer can ride the decline. That protection, though, of course, comes at an extra price, typically 20 to 50 cents more per gallon, so that doesn't do much good. While it is on a smaller scale, those who must contract for fuel are playing the same game that cost seasoned oil traders and hedge funds dearly this year. It cost them a lot. Heating oil dealers have entered a potentially devastating period as well. Many such operations sell perhaps 1 million gallons of oil a year or more, and likely will need access to much higher credit lines than what they have had in the past to cover fuel sales, especially during the coldest months. And, again, of course, and banks are being much more demanding nowadays. It's never ever been this bad, said one man. Credit is like finding hen's teeth. It's not particularly common at all. It's becoming increasingly difficult, all at a time when competition among the dealers remains more intense than ever. There is a tremendous amount of pressure on the retailers. Nobody wants to be the highest guy in the street, but you want to be the guy that's still there in the spring. Of course, all systems have become broken, or are becoming broken. All man-made systems are out of control. Just watch the stock market, or Wall Street, or TV news. These are all more signs of end times transition days.